My significant other and I both work in natural resource professions and are outdoors most of our free time, many times alone. Never had creepy experiences aside from real wildlife encounters, and we think skinwalkers are just tall tales. National Park Service, natural resource, and public land employees get paid way too little to keep any type of secret like that. We have been on a fishing trip recently in the middle of nowhere, with little to no people around. I heard my significant other very clearly, and in his voice for sure, call my name, a nickname that only he and my family who live across the country use. From a couple of yards away, I looked over and said, "What?" And when he didn't know what I was talking about, I explained that he very obviously called my name. He went pale and said that he had actually heard my voice call his name a few hours ago as well. He looked over and seen that I was too far away for it to have been me to call him. My grandma died in 2013, and I moved into her house due to inheritance. In the back of the house are French doors that lead to the porch, which my grandma would sit on every day. The handles and locks are very loud when they are turned, and every once in a while I will hear the familiar sound of the door being unlocked and the handle being turned, and I will go to the doors and see one is opened without fail. I close them as not to let the hot air or cold air in, depending on the time of year, and minutes later it will sometimes happen again. At first it scared me, but now it makes me happy to know that she is still with me. When my grandfather had a terrible fall, he was admitted to the Vanderbilt Hospital in Nashville, Tennessee. The first couple of weeks he was in the new hospital, and then he was transferred to the old building, which has the most confusing layout of any hospital I have ever been. I was a teenager at the time, so locations of things are completely lost to me. It was definitely old though. It felt old. It felt dreary, heavy, and sad. The whole building did. There was a huge waiting room, and we were the only family there. My grandmother was obviously losing the love of her life, but she had to be strong for everyone else. She didn't let us see her sad, but I could tell. I always sat right beside her in the waiting rooms, as there was only one visitor allowed at the time, so we would rotate and the rest would wait in the waiting areas. I needed to go to the bathroom, so I told her I'd be right back and went to the bathroom that was in the waiting area. When I got out, there was a woman sitting next to my grandmother. In my egocentric teenage brain, I thought, there are so many empty chairs in this room. Why did she have to take mine? As I took a couple more steps, the woman put her arms around my grandmother, giving her a huge embrace. My grandmother didn't move though, which I thought was weird. My grandmother would take a hug from basically anyone. A couple of more steps in, I could tell that she was wearing a nurse's outfit that looked like it was from the early 1900s. I was really close at that point, fully ready to pick the other seat next to my grandmother since this lady decided to take mine. I looked down at my feet, and when I looked up, she was gone. Just gone. I asked my grandmother where she went. She had no idea what I was talking about, and no energy to even question me. I was a bit shaken up after that, to say the least. My dad came out of my grandfather's hospital room, and I told him what had happened. He was just like, "I can definitely believe that. I feel it all around." And that was that. I've got a lot of paranormal stories, but I'll start with a good non-scary one. 12 to 13 years ago, I was 7 or 8 years old at the time. My cousin and I used to go to a small gaming lounge where we used to play Counter-Strike 1.3 together. One day, we had a fight during a game, and he decided to leave me. He was older than me by 3 years, and I didn't even know how to cross the street safely, so I decided to go on my own. Once I reached the busy street that I needed to cross, a man grabbed me by the shoulder gently and safely took me to the other side. Now here's where it gets creepy. Once I lifted my head to thank the man, I realized that there was no one there. I'll never forget that moment of my life, ever, because it was truly a mystery.